Hello and welcome back to the final headphone t-shirt art vlog by Landon Jones, and this is the last one, so we'll be talking about what is art and my 10 days and pretty much a summary of my experiences. So what I've learned about art, I mean, from the start I thought about art, as an intention that anything could be art, really, but I only said that because I know it to be true. I didn't believe it. I just knew that, that was the right answer in a way. But even though everything can be art, I still believe that it's still your own personal opinion. If you don't believe something to be art, you don't have to. I mean, that doesn't make it not art, but it is up to your interpretation. If you see someone, just throw a paper bag on the ground, crumple it up, and just throw it on the ground, and they're like, boom, that's it right there. Now we're gonna move it to a left. We're gonna move it to the left, and that is going to be my piece. I mean, it seems ridiculous, but that person might consider it art while you may not. Now, I don't think that gives you the right to run up to that person and be like, that's BS, it's not art. I don't think you can do that, but you gotta just let it go. You gotta just walk away and let it be what it is. But that's probably something that I definitely learned, is that that no matter whether someone says it's art or someone says it isn't, it's still up to interpretation. I think you could accidentally do something and it could be considered art by someone else, and you may not even recognize it as so, because you didn't really have the intention to make it art, but it could still be art in someone else's eyes. I never thought about that until just now, but intention is still very important as well, in sort of a different aspect. But intention is like you intend something to be a certain way, like whether the way I position the lines on my drawing, the way I curve this line here, the angles I use, the colors I use, there's always intention behind almost everything that they do when they're creating a piece. And that's something that I didn't fully comprehend initially when I began the class, is that everything had an intention, and it's a bit difficult to fully comprehend that when you're just just walking around mindlessly, just looking at the art and maybe not reading the little text if it's a little bit too long for your taste. But once you really get into it, do the research, and have a well taught professor who is able to explain everything to you in such a way that you can gain an understanding from that almost alone, then you can start to truly respect art in its own way. I mean, I do not perceive myself as an artist, because that would be ridiculous. Who do I think I am? The question is, what is art? I feel like I just answered that, but art can really be anything, really, as I said before. But I'm pretty sure it's still up to interpretation. Now, what can art be? Art can be, once again, anything, from, I don't know if this is talking about feelings, as in like what can it be to you. I don't know, it's kind of vague, but what can art be? Art can be anything from art can be happy, art can be sad, art can be dramatic, art can be boring. From what I've learned, art can be beautiful and art can be ugly, and both of those have a meaning. Just because something isn't visually pleasing doesn't give it any less value than something that was meant to be aesthetically pleasing. Everything has a reason for its creation, and you just sometimes as a consumer of the art, you can't necessarily fully grasp what the artist meant, and maybe that's just how it is. I mean, some artists are very heavy-handed with what they want to bring with their piece, and some of them are very abstract, such as the abstract artists. It's very hard to tell what they're trying to communicate. But yeah, art can be anything. It can be a chair, it can be a desk, it can be a bed, but it's also the way that it's created, the way that it is positioned, that also carries a lot of weight. What can art do? Art can hold the values of a culture. Art can bring happiness. Art can bring joy. Art can bring change to the world. So surprisingly, but it can. it can send a message. Art can be controversial. It can make you think a certain way. It can make you stop thinking another way. It can bring to life something that you never thought of before. Like, I don't know, I had a classmate talk about her experience in the, I believe it's the National Mexican Art Museum or something like that, along the lines of that, but she said that she had experienced something that she had never felt before. So she said it brought her to tears, so I'm kind of stealing her story, but I never felt something that powerful in any other museum, so it's unfortunate that I cannot bring my own experience to this, but that just goes to show you that art affects people in different ways, but also her, it was very, very powerful for her, so it completely changed her mind about a subject that I'm sure she'll bring up in her own 10th blog. But regardless, what has art been to me? Art has been something that I probably take for granted, in the sense that I don't create any art. I mean, I have doodles, but like those are just chicken scratch, honestly. I don't see it as art. It's more comedic than anything, because of how terrible it is. But I don't know, there's kind of this funny joy that I get out of, because it doesn't look that great, but it still makes me laugh. It makes my friends laugh, because it wouldn't be as good if it was almost good, but it's so bad that it's good. It's hard to describe that completely, but that's as close as it's going to get. I think that's pretty funny. They enjoy when I draw things here and there, but I have to like make it look kind of goofy. But regardless, I have a friend that's going into graphic design, and he actually made the background on my computer. The art doesn't necessarily belong to him, but he took two different things, he combined them, and then he added this text, and this is now the background on my computer. He made this for me. He created art and he gave it to me for free. You know, this is what he's going into, so I'm very happy that he took the time to create that for me. But that's just a friend who's going into it, and it's really interesting because he showed me some of the intricacies. Is that the right word? The intricacies of his technique and what he does in order to create some of these projects in Photoshop and such. But it was really interesting. I didn't think he'd do this for me. I mean, he was already doing one for one of our other friends, and she needed it because, well, she didn't need it, but she wanted a little like a compilation picture of her and her friends and the moments that they shared, and he created that for her. And I just wanted something of a character that I play in a video game, which doesn't hold nearly as much sentimental value, but regardless, I was happy that he created it for me. And the class overall was really dope. I got to meet a lot of people, got to share a lot of stories, got to understand people who are actually, some of them are going to do the same things that I am, whether that's a thought process or just school in general. It was really cool to meet them. The professor was great. Everything about the class was really nice, and I think it was kind of interesting when she said that she needed 8 people to run a field studies class, and our class had 8 people, so we really just reached that minimum there. Otherwise, I would have been taking probably an online art class, and it would not have been nearly as fun and nearly as interactive as this. So I'm gracious for this experience, and thank you. This is the last one, so goodbye.